The alien warrior bleeds out, but only a human can save her. The sky above planet Cylon was dark, filled with smoke, fire, and the sound of war. Explosions shook the ground. Ships flew across the sky, shooting beams of light at each other. The battle between the Xilari Empire and the United Human Front had reached its peak. Zera, an elite alien warrior of the Xilari, stood on the battlefield, her armor cracked and glowing from energy hits. Her long silver hair was soaked in sweat and blood. She was known across many planets as the fiercest soldier of her people. But now, she was on her knees. A plasma bolt had hit her side. The wound was deep. Green blood poured from her body, painting the ground below. Her breathing slowed. Her vision blurred. Around her, her team was either dead or retreating. Zera pressed her hand to her side, trying to stop the bleeding, but it was useless. She collapsed. At the same moment, a group of human soldiers approached, weapons ready. Among them was Jack Rivers, a young medic from Earth. His job was to save lives. But today, he was supposed to fight. He saw Zera lying there, still alive but dying fast. "Medic, we've got a live one," someone shouted. The human soldiers surrounded her carefully. Some looked angry. Others looked nervous. "She's the enemy," one of them said. "Let her die." Jack stepped forward. "She's not dead yet." "Jack, don't even think about it," said his commander. "She killed 5 of our men last week." Jack didn't move. He looked at Zera's face. She was trying to breathe. Her green eyes opened slowly. She looked straight at him. No anger, no fear, only pain. "She's a soldier, like us," Jack said. "And I'm a medic. I don't choose who lives or dies. I just save who I can." He knelt beside her and scanned her body with his medical device. The results were bad, very bad. Her blood is too thin. She's lost too much. No alien blood around to help. "So what do we do?" asked a young soldier. Jack looked at his own arm. Then he looked at the scanner again. The system beeped, showing a match. "It's crazy," he said softly. "But our blood types are close. I can try to give her mine." The commander laughed. "You want to do what? Give your blood to an alien. You'll kill her, or yourself." "She's dying anyway," Jack replied. "And maybe this will work." Zera whispered something. Jack leaned close. "Please, don't let me die," she said in a weak voice. Without waiting for permission, Jack connected the transfusion tube to his arm, and then to Zera's. Everyone watched in silence. For the first few seconds, nothing happened. Then her body jerked. Her fingers twitched. Her breathing became faster. Monitors beeped wildly. Her pulse jumped. "Her vitals are climbing," Jack said. "It's working. She's stabilizing." Then something strange happened. Zera's skin began to glow. A soft, golden light spread from the place where Jack's blood entered her veins. It moved across her body, lighting up her wounds. The cuts on her skin began to close. Her eyes flashed with a strange light. Jack felt a sharp jolt in his chest. He pulled his hand back, shaking. "What was that?" he whispered. Suddenly, Zera sat up, gasping. She looked around, confused, and then locked eyes with Jack. Their connection was instant, powerful, deep. "You," she whispered, "your blood changed something in me." Jack stared back, heart pounding. He didn't know what he had done. He only knew he had saved her. The commander stepped forward. "Get her into the medical unit. Now." 2 soldiers helped Zera to her feet. She was still weak, but standing. As they carried her toward the base, Jack followed. He couldn't stop thinking about the glow, the energy, and the way she looked at him. Later, inside the human base's medical room, doctors tried to understand what happened. "This doesn't make sense," one said. "Her cells are changing. Her body is stronger now. Her DNA, it's not fully Xilari anymore." "What does that mean?" Jack asked. "It means," the doctor said slowly, "that your blood didn't just save her. It fused with her." At that moment, Zira opened her eyes again. She stared at Jack and said only one thing. "What did you do to me?" Her body changed, and now she's connected to him. Zira sat silently in the human medical room, staring at the white walls. Machines blinked softly around her. Her breathing was calm now, her wounds healed, but something inside her was different. She touched her arm, the place where Jack's blood had entered her body. It was still warm. Across the room, Jack watched her carefully. He was sitting on a small bench, bandages on his arm. His face looked tired, but his eyes were wide open. He couldn't look away from her. The doctors had no explanation. "This is impossible," one of them had said. "No alien has ever accepted human blood before," another added. "She should have died. But instead, she's stronger." Jack didn't care about the science. All he knew was that he had saved her. And now, something strange had happened between them. Something no one could explain. That night, Jack returned to his bunk to rest. But he couldn't sleep. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw her, Zira, bleeding, then glowing, then rising like something reborn. He rubbed his eyes and turned on his side. Suddenly, he heard a voice. "Jack." His heart jumped. He sat up, looking around the room. No one was there. "Who's there?" he whispered. Silence. Then again, clearer this time. "Jack, can you hear me?" It was her voice. "Zira." Jack jumped out of bed and ran to the medical unit. Meanwhile, in the medical bay, Zira opened her eyes suddenly. Her heart was racing. Her hands were shaking. She could feel him. Jack, not just his presence, but his heartbeat, his emotions. Fear, confusion, wonder. "What is this?" she whispered to herself. Then the door opened. Jack rushed in, breathless. You called me?" he asked. Zira stared at him, eyes wide. "I didn't move. I didn't speak. But I thought of you. I felt you." Jack slowly walked toward her. "I heard your voice. In my head." They looked at each other, unsure of what was happening. A soft beeping sound pulled their attention. The machine next to Zira lit up again. "Stronger heartbeat," the nurse said, walking in. "Temperature rising again." But Zira felt fine. More than fine. She felt alive. Sharp, focused, and very aware of Jack. The bond. Over the next few days, something strange continued. Zira and Jack could sense each other, even from across the base. When one was in pain, the other felt it. When one laughed, the other smiled, without knowing why. One evening, Jack was eating in the mess hall when he suddenly felt cold. A deep chill in his chest. He dropped his tray and ran. He found Zira sitting in the training room, her eyes filled with tears. "I was remembering my team," she said. "They're all gone." Without a word, Jack sat beside her and took her hand. "I'm here," he said softly. And the cold left her body. The connection was real. The tests begin. The scientists couldn't stay silent anymore. They took Zira in for more tests. They scanned her blood, her organs, her mind. "We don't know what this is," one of them said, "but your DNA is no longer 100% Xilari. Jack's blood has done something, more than healing. It changed you," another said, "and possibly joined you too." Zira didn't know what to say, but she could feel it. Jack was part of her now. One evening, as she stood by the window watching the stars, she felt something strange in her stomach. A flutter, a warmth. She placed her hand on it slowly. Shocking discovery. That same night, Jack had a strange dream. He saw Zira in a field of stars, her hands glowing. She was holding something. Someone, wrapped in light. He woke up, sweating. And that's when Zira entered the room, her face pale. "I need to talk to you," she said quietly. Jack nodded. "I had a dream. Something strange. I think." Zyra took a deep breath. "I think something is growing inside me." Jack froze. "What do you mean?" She looked down at her stomach, then back at him. "I didn't think it was possible. Our species are too different. But your blood changed me. It made my body accept something new." She paused. "I'm pregnant, Jack." Silence. Jack couldn't speak. He just stared at her. Zyra lowered her head. "I know this is crazy. I know it sounds like a mistake. But I can feel it. A life. Inside me. And it's connected to you." Jack slowly walked over to her. "We don't even know what this means. What kind of child?" "I don't know," she said. "But I know one thing. The child is alive. And it's not just mine." Jack placed a hand on her stomach. He felt it. A pulse. Like a second heartbeat. Warm and real. And suddenly, he didn't feel afraid. The beginning of something greater. Zyra looked into his eyes. "I don't know if your people or mine will accept this." Jack nodded. "But I know one thing. I'll protect you. And the child." They stood together, side by side, not as enemies, but as something new. And far away, beyond the stars, a sensor beeped deep inside the Auxiliary Council's command ship. A voice spoke from the shadows. "Track the female. She carries a forbidden life. An impossible pregnancy. Alien Council declares it a threat." The medical room was quiet. Zyra sat alone on the examination table, staring at the floor. Her hands trembled as she waited. Machines beeped softly around her. Jack stood by the wall, arms crossed, trying to stay calm. But his heart was racing. The lead doctor entered. He was a tall human with silver glasses and a tired face. He held a scanner in his hand, and behind him, 2 alien researchers followed silently. The doctor spoke slowly. "We've double-checked the results, Zyra." She looked up, eyes steady. "You're pregnant." A deep silence filled the room. "But this isn't just any pregnancy," he continued. "The baby is growing at a speed we've never seen before. Based on the scans, it's already developed past the first stage, just in a few days." Zyra looked down at her stomach. It looked the same. Flat. Normal. But inside, something very different was happening. Jack stepped forward. "Is the baby healthy?" The doctor hesitated. "It's stable, but powerful. It's drawing energy from Zyra's body at a dangerous rate." He turned to the researchers. One of them stepped up, his voice low and serious. "We sent the data to the Auxiliary Medical Council for support, but we didn't expect their response." Zyra narrowed her eyes. "What response?" The alien researcher looked at her. "The council has declared your pregnancy illegal, a threat to galactic law. You are to be detained immediately. The child is to be removed." Shock and betrayal. Jack moved in front of Zyra. "You're not serious." "They believe this baby could be the first of a new species," the doctor said. "A crossbreed between human and Auxiliary. It's never happened before, and they fear it." Zyra stood slowly, her voice cold. "So their first answer is to destroy what they fear." "The council fears war," the alien researcher explained. "If word spreads that a Auxiliary warrior has a human child, other races will see it as weakness, or worse, rebellion." Zyra's fists clenched. "Let them fear." Jack stepped beside her. "We won't let them touch the baby." The room filled with tension. No one moved. Then a loud alarm began to ring through the building. "Red alert. Unauthorized transmission detected." The council had sent a direct message. Message from the council. A large screen came to life in the command room. All base personnel gathered around. On screen stood Counselor Nerith, one of the highest Auxiliary leaders. His face was stone cold. "This is a message to the United Human Front," he began. "You are harboring a dangerous genetic creation. The warrior Zyra has broken sacred law. The child within her is an unknown mutation. He looked directly into the camera. You have 7 days to return her. If not, we will take action. Then the screen went dark. On the run, back in the medbay, Jack grabbed Zyra's hand. We need to go. Now. Where? She asked. Nowhere is safe. There's a place, Jack said. An old cargo ship, abandoned, hidden in the asteroid belt near Vega 6. No tracking signals, no comms. Perfect for hiding. Zyra didn't hesitate. She nodded. Let's go. That night, with the help of a few trusted soldiers, they escaped the human base. Jack flew the stolen ship through quiet space, dodging satellites and patrols. Zyra sat in the back, her hand resting on her stomach. She felt it again, the warmth, the flutter, the connection. The baby was alive. The moon of steel. They landed the ship on a cold, metallic moon, once used for mining, now abandoned. Inside the empty tunnels, they'd made shelter. Just Jack, Zyra, and the unborn child. Days passed. The baby grew quickly. Zyra could feel her body changing again. Stronger, faster, and stranger. One night, Jack watched her sleep. A soft light glowed from her skin, just like before. Then it happened. A pulse of energy shot out from her body. Machines in the room lit up. Lights blinked wildly. Jack ran to her side. Zyra, are you okay? She opened her eyes. I felt something. A heartbeat. But it wasn't mine. Jack touched her belly. A small hand pressed back against his palm. From inside, his eyes filled with tears. Meanwhile, on that Silari homeworld, Counselor Nereth stared at a star map. She must not give birth, he growled. A soldier entered. We've tracked her ship, the moon near Vega 6. Send a strike team. Full force. No survivors. Final scene of part 3. Back on the moon, Jack and Zyra were sitting together, holding hands in the dim light. Suddenly, the ground shook. An alarm on their ship beeped. Incoming signal. They found us, Jack said. Zyra stood slowly, placing one hand on her stomach and the other on her blaster. They'll try to take the baby, she whispered. Jack looked at her, calm and ready. Then let them try. Outside the cave, shadows moved. Lights in the sky grew brighter. The hunt had begun, and the child wasn't even born yet, hunted across the stars. But the baby is evolving. The night on the cold metallic moon was silent. Too silent. Zyra stood at the edge of the dark cave, her hand resting on her stomach. The child inside her had stopped moving. That worried her more than the soldiers hunting them. Jack stood behind her, holding a plasma rifle. His eyes scanned the sky, watching for the incoming ships. They're close, he said quietly. Zyra nodded. I can feel them. Her voice was calm, but inside, she was trembling. Not from fear, but from something else. Her body was changing again. Strange signals. Earlier that day, something had happened. Zyra had collapsed, not from pain, but from something deep within. A strange energy had pulsed through her. Her eyes had turned silver for a moment, and her skin glowed. Jack had caught her before she fell. What's happening to you? He whispered, holding her close. Zyra gasped, trying to breathe. It's not just me. It's the child. It's growing fast. Too fast. Jack checked her vitals. Heartbeat is rising. Blood pressure through the roof. You need rest. But Zyra shook her head. No, something else is happening. The baby, it's learning. Jack looked confused. Learning what? Zyra stared at him. Everything. The baby's power. Later that night, Zyra woke up in a panic. She clutched her stomach. Jack, come quick. Jack rushed to her. What is it? She pointed. Look. The skin around her stomach was glowing. Not red or gold, but blue like electricity. A strange pattern appeared, like ancient runes moving under her skin. Suddenly, a small object across the room, a broken communication device, floated into the air. Jack's jaw dropped. What the hell? The device hovered, then gently floated down. Zira was shaking. The baby did that. Jack blinked. But it's not even born yet. I told you, she whispered. It's learning. The attack begins. Before sunrise, they heard it, the deep, thunder-like sound of enemy ships entering the moon's orbit. Jack looked at the sky through a broken window. 3 warships. No markings. Definitely auxiliary. Zira narrowed her eyes. Assassins. Jack grabbed his gear. We can't fight them. Not here. Not like this. Zira moved quickly. There's an old mining tunnel, deep underground. We hide there. As they rushed toward the entrance, explosions lit up the surface behind them. The first strike had begun. Dust and rock rained from the sky as the warships opened fire. Underground refuge. The mining tunnels were old, dark, and silent. The air smelled of rust and oil. Jack lit a small lamp, guiding Zira carefully through the narrow path. She was slowing down now, her breath heavy, sweat on her forehead. Jack stopped. Zira, you need to rest. She leaned against the wall, gripping her stomach. It's getting stronger. Suddenly, the baby kicked. Jack felt it. A strange pressure filled the tunnel. Then, a flash of light. For 1 second, the entire tunnel lit up like daylight. Then it was dark again. What was that? Jack whispered. Zira looked terrified. The baby. It's protecting us. It sensed danger. Jack turned around. Then we better keep moving, because danger is right behind us. Enemy close behind. The auxiliary strike team entered the tunnel with heavy gear and scanners. Their commander, a cruel and scared alien named Vorik, snarled as he gave orders. Find her. Take the child. Kill the human. The team moved swiftly through the tunnels, tracking Zira's unique energy signature. But something was wrong. The deeper they went, the stranger things became. One soldier screamed as his weapon melted in his hands. Another one collapsed, his helmet filled with static. Sir, said the scout, voice shaking, the baby, it's interfering with our tech. Vorik's eyes narrowed. Then we take it now, before it becomes something worse. The final escape. Zira and Jack reached the end of the tunnel. A dead end. Nothing but a sealed metal wall. Jack slammed his fist on it. There's no way out. Zira fell to her knees. Jack, I can't go on. He rushed to her, kneeling. You're strong. Just a little more. Tears filled her eyes. It's not pain. It's the baby. It wants to come out. Jack froze. Now. Here. Suddenly, the baby kicked again, and the sealed wall behind them crumbled into dust. Jack looked at Zira in shock. It did that, didn't it? She nodded, breathing hard. Yes, it wants to live. They rushed through the new opening into a large cavern filled with glowing crystals. It was beautiful, but also dangerous. A new force awakens. Zira collapsed again. This time, it was real. She cried out in pain. It's time. Jack looked around. We need help. I don't know how to deliver an alien child. But then something incredible happened. The crystals around them began to sing, a soft hum, like a lullaby. Light flowed toward Zira, surrounding her in warmth. Jack backed away slowly, afraid. Zira floated off the ground, her body glowing. The child was not coming like a normal baby. It was being born with power. Back at the surface, Vorik and his team reached the final tunnel, but the energy waves were too strong. Weapons exploded. Lights failed. Fall back, Vorik shouted. It's too late. The child is already here. But it was too late. Final scene of Part 4. Inside the glowing cavern, Jack watched as Zara floated down gently, her body weak, but alive. And in her arms was a small baby. Not fully human, not fully alien, but something new. The child opened its glowing eyes and smiled. Jack fell to his knees, overwhelmed with emotion. Zara whispered through tired lips, "He's here, and he's watching everything." Far above, in deep space, every sensor across the galaxy picked up a strange new signal. A pulse, a birth, a power the universe had never seen before. The baby's birth shakes the planet's core. The glowing cavern was silent, too silent. Jack knelt beside Zara, his hand shaking as he reached out toward the small baby in her arms. Its body shimmered with light, not just the soft glow of life, but something else, something otherworldly. The baby had no umbilical cord, no cry, just eyes, wide, silver, and deep, staring into Jack's soul like it already knew him. Zara's breathing was shallow. She looked exhausted, barely holding on. He's not like us," she whispered, her voice weak. Jack looked at her, heart racing. "Is he okay?" She nodded slowly. "More than okay. He's awake." Shockwaves underground. Suddenly, the cavern shook. Not a simple tremor, but a planetquake. The entire moon groaned under pressure as rocks began falling from the ceiling. Jack shielded Zara and the baby, pulling them behind a crystal pillar. But the quake wasn't random. It was coming from the baby. Jack turned to Zara in disbelief. "He's doing this." Zara was too weak to speak, but her eyes said it all. Yes. Above them, massive stalactites crashed to the ground. The glowing crystals cracked, sending beams of light shooting in every direction. And then, just as suddenly as it started, the shaking stopped. Silence returned. But it was a different kind of silence now. A waiting silence. The child speaks without words. Jack looked down at the baby again. It hadn't cried once. But suddenly, Jack heard a voice in his head. Soft, curious, clear. "Are you my father?" Jack gasped and looked around. "Who said that?" Zara's eyes widened. "I heard it too." The baby blinked, then reached a tiny hand toward Jack. "You gave me life. I remember your blood. I remember your love. I remember everything." Jack's throat tightened. "This can't be real." Zara smiled weakly. "It is now." Back on the surface. Panic in the stars. On the surface of the moon, Commander Vorik's ship rose into the air, shaking from the earlier quake. His crew stared at the readouts on their screens. Everything was glowing red. "Sir," the pilot said, voice trembling, "we detected a planet core disruption. That baby's birth nearly cracked this moon in half." Vorik slammed his fist on the console. "That thing is not a child. It's a weapon." He opened a comlink to the Stellari High Council. "This is Vorik. The child has been born, and it's dangerous." Far across the galaxy, the Council responds. On the planet Carinth, inside the glass halls of the Stellari High Council, 12 beings stood in a perfect circle. Their minds were linked to thousands of systems across the stars. News traveled fast. One of them spoke. "The hybrid child is alive." Another replied, "It already shows abilities far beyond its age." Counselor Nereth stepped forward. "We must destroy it now, before the rest of the galaxy finds out." But said another, "What if the child is not a threat? What if it's the key to peace?" Nereth's eyes burned. Peace is weakness. Order is survival. The vote was quick. Destruction was authorized. Back on the moon, the prophecy revealed. Jack held the baby in his arms. It felt weightless, warm, alive. He looked at Zara. "What do we do now?" Before she could answer, the baby reached out, placing a hand on a glowing crystal nearby. The entire cavern lit up. Then, a vision. Images flashed in front of Jack and Zara's eyes. Bright and fast. Stars exploding, cities burning, armies rising. Then, silence. A single image remained. The baby, standing between two great forces, one of destruction, the other of peace. Zira whispered, "He's the bridge." Jack nodded slowly. The universe is watching him. The vision ended. The baby opened its eyes. "They're coming," it said in both their minds. A gift and a warning. As the family moved deeper into the cavern, something strange happened. The baby raised its tiny hand, and the cracked walls of the cavern began to heal. Broken rocks reformed. Fallen crystals floated back into place. It was rebuilding the world around it. Jack and Zira watched in awe. "This power, he could reshape planets," Jack said. "But power attracts danger," Zira added. As they prepared to leave the cavern, the baby reached toward the sky. Above the moon, a pulse of energy shot out, bright, wide, and unstoppable. Across thousands of star systems, it was received. A message. "I am here." Final scene of Part 5. Back inside the Council's war chamber, alarms blared. "New signal," a technician yelled. It reached the galactic core and beyond. Counselor Nereth stood tall. "Begin invasion. No mercy." As the warships launched, Zira held her child close, her eyes glowing with new strength. Jack stood beside her, armor ready. "We protect him," he said, "no matter what." And far above, stars began to move. Because this child was not just a baby. He was a beacon, a beginning, and perhaps the end of everything. The child speaks, and the galaxy listens. Stars moved. Planets trembled. Satellites, across thousands of light years, caught the same signal. Soft, rhythmic, strange. It wasn't noise. It wasn't code. It was a heartbeat. And at the center of it, floating in the cold silence of the universe, was a child. Born of two enemies, loved by both, feared by all. A quiet cave and a powerful voice. Deep beneath the surface of the moon, in the glowing cavern, Jack watched his son sleeping peacefully in Zira's arms. The baby looked ordinary now. Eyes closed, small hands curled gently. But Jack knew better. Last night, the child had spoken to him, without words, and shown him visions of burning skies and broken planets. Zira stroked the baby's head softly. "I don't think he's like anything this galaxy has ever seen," she said. Jack nodded. "I think he is the galaxy now." Sudden panic. The invasion begins. Above the moon, black warships slipped out of hyperspace, blocking the light of the nearest star. They came without warning. No message. No demand. Just weapons. Dozens of sleek, Silari-designed destroyers aimed their energy cannons at the small, forgotten moon below. On board the lead ship, Counselor Nereth stood in silence, hands clasped behind his back. His second-in-command turned to him. "Orders." "Sir." "Burn it." Nereth replied coldly. "Let the galaxy see what happens when bloodlines are broken." Back underground. The warning. Suddenly, the baby opened its eyes. Bright. Glowing. Not silver anymore, but a shifting blend of blue and gold. Zira felt a warm pulse go through her chest. Jack dropped the tool in his hand and clutched his heart. Then, they heard the voice again. Not in their heads. Not with their ears. Every wall in the cave vibrated with it. "They are here." Zira stood, holding the baby close. "We have to move." Jack grabbed the comlink. "But they'll destroy the whole moon." "No," said the baby. "They will listen." The message that froze the stars. At that exact moment, across hundreds of star systems, every screen, every satellite, every ship, and even biological life forms with no technology, stopped. They all heard the same message. Not in language, but in thought. Not a voice, a feeling, a presence. You came to destroy me. You called me a threat. But I am not here to break the galaxy. I am here to heal it. On warships, soldiers dropped their weapons. On distant worlds, creatures paused and looked to the sky. Even Counselor Nereth gritted his teeth and whispered, "He's inside our minds." The child continued, "I remember every war, every death, every scream in the void. I carry your pain, because I was born from it." Jack and Zira held each other tightly as light surrounded them. The baby floated gently out of Zira's arms, glowing like a small star. Enough blood has been spilled, enough fear, enough control. Today, I speak for every voice silenced by power. And then, he screamed, the sound that shattered ships. It wasn't a cry. It was a cosmic wave, a sound of sorrow and power fused together. All around the moon, the warship's energy shields shattered like glass. Their cannons melted. Their engines froze. Nereth stumbled, holding his head. This is impossible. His ship spun out of orbit, crashing into a nearby asteroid. More warships fell, spiraling helplessly. But nothing exploded. No one died. Because the baby didn't attack them. He took away their hate. Galactic shock. On Earth, leaders watched the news reports, stunned. On Silari Prime, temples fell silent. On the pirate stations near the Black Stars, rough mercenaries dropped to their knees, some crying for the first time in years. Because across every species, the same thing happened. The pain left them. The child had shared a glimpse of peace, just a second, but it was enough to shake a galaxy it had known only fear. The Council's last move. But not everyone was ready to change. Counselor Nereth, bleeding and furious, opened a hidden vault deep inside his ship. Inside was a small cube, glowing black and red. "The Galaxy Core Protocol," he whispered. "If I can't stop this child, I'll end the stars themselves." He activated it. The sky falls. Suddenly, the sun above the moon dimmed. A tear in space opened, a black rift stretching wider and wider. It wasn't just a weapon. It was a hole in reality, one that could swallow planets, stars, maybe even time itself. Jack stared at it, horrified. What is that?" Zira whispered, "A galaxy killer." The baby looked at the sky and smiled. The child's final gift. The baby floated higher, into the light. His body grew, not larger, but brighter. He raised one hand, and the rift in space stopped growing. He raised the other, and it closed. Just like that. Gone. The blackness faded. The sun returned. The warships fled. The silence returned. And the baby gently floated back into Zira's arms. Jack whispered, "What are you?" The baby looked at them both and said simply, "I am what happens when love wins." Final scene of Part 6. Back in the Council's chamber, only 6 of the 12 members remained. Nereth was gone, lost in the rift he had opened. One of the counselors stood up slowly. "Shall we still fear him?" she asked. Another one shook his head. "No, we will follow him." Closing words. Across the galaxy, stars shimmered a little brighter. The boy who wasn't supposed to exist. The child born from war. The baby made from 2 enemies' blood. Had changed the galaxy. And he hadn't even taken his first step yet. The human alien child becomes a galactic symbol. The galaxy had changed. News of the child spread like fire across every system, through every communication line, from the rich planets of the galactic core to the ice worlds at the edge of space. Some called him the Miracle Boy. Others whispered Starborn. But most simply called him Hope. Days after the storm, Jack stood outside the small outpost they had built on the reborn moon. The air was calm now. The crystals no longer glowed wildly, and the energy of the baby had become stable, gentle, but still powerful. Zira sat under a tall arch of stone, holding the child to her chest. He was finally sleeping like a real baby, peacefully, wrapped in warmth. "I still don't know what he is," Jack said softly, watching them. Zira smiled faintly. "He's ours. That's enough for me." But deep down, both of them knew the galaxy wanted their son. And soon, it would come for him again. The visitors arrive. One evening, a ship appeared in the sky. Not a warship this time, but a diplomatic vessel, bright white, and lined with peace signals from across 10 species. It landed quietly. From it stepped 12 figures, leaders of different races, including Silari, human, Zeltri, and even the ancient Draxan elders who hadn't spoken to outsiders in over 300 years. They bowed before the child. One of them, an old human woman in a silver robe, spoke. "We came to see the boy who made soldiers drop their weapons and made dying stars shine again." Zira clutched the child tightly. "He's not a god." "We don't need a god," said a auxiliary priest. "We need a symbol, something, someone to believe in." Jack looked at them all, then at his son, who was now staring calmly at the visitors. "Let him choose," Jack said. "He's not a weapon. He's not a puppet. If you want his voice, wait until he has one." The baby raised a hand, and in that moment, every visitor heard a thought in their language, gentle but clear. "Unity is not built by force. It is built by choice. Let me grow, and I will come." The visitors bowed again and left, growing faster than time. Over the next few weeks, something strange began to happen. The child aged. Not like a normal baby. Not slowly. He spoke full words within days, walked within a week. By the time the moon completed one full orbit, he looked like a 5-year-old human boy, with glowing veins and soft silver eyes. He called himself Kale. He loved stories, music, and asking questions about stars. But every time he touched something broken, it healed. Every time he cried, the air grew heavy. Every time he laughed, the crystals nearby began to sing. Jack taught him how to build things. Zira taught him how to fight, but only to protect. The return of the council. The galaxy's peace was fragile. A new version of the Celery Council sent a message requesting a summit. They wanted to gather all galactic leaders in one place, for the first time in centuries. They wanted Kel to speak. "Why me?" the boy asked, looking up at his parents. Jack knelt beside him. "Because when you speak, people listen." Zira touched his shoulder. "But if you don't want to go, we'll protect you." Kale smiled. "I want to go. It's time." The Galactic Summit. The summit was held on Taraxis Prime, a planet covered in living forests and floating cities. Every major species arrived. Tensions were high. Old enemies refused to even look at each other. Then Kale stepped onto the central platform. He was small, barefoot, dressed in simple robes. And yet, the entire galaxy fell silent. Kale spoke not with power, but with truth. He told them what he saw in the future: wars that never ended, species wiped out by fear, and families torn apart by pride. Then he told them what he saw in his parents: a soldier who was told to hate, but chose to love, he said, pointing to Zira. A medic who was told to follow orders, but chose to save, he said, pointing to Jack. Then Kel closed his eyes and shared his final message: a memory. A wave of light swept over the crowd, showing everyone the day he was born. Zira's pain, Jack's fear, and the moment light filled the cave. Tears filled eyes. Even the oldest warriors wept. The new order. After Kel spoke, the leaders did something unthinkable. They signed a universal treaty. A real one. No lies, no trick clauses. A galactic peace accord, built by a child. And Kel. He was named the first voice of unity. Not a king, not a ruler, but a reminder that even from blood and war, hope could be born. 1 year later, Jack, Zira, and Kale returned to the same moon where it all began. They built a home there, simple, quiet, full of light. Kale still glowed sometimes when he dreamed. Jack taught him how to fish. Zara told him bedtime stories from her warrior days, only the funny ones. And at night, Kale would lie beneath the stars, whispering to them. Sometimes, the stars whispered back. Final words of the story. The galaxy didn't stay perfect. There were still fights, still anger, still fear. But now, there was something else too. A boy with soft eyes and strong hands. Born from war, raised by love, heard by all. He was not just a miracle. He was a beginning.